In The Selfish Gene, Richard Dawkins presents a radical shift in how we understand evolution. Rather than focusing on the survival of species or individuals, Dawkins argues that the true unit of selection in evolution is the gene. The book proposes that organisms, including humans, are essentially survival machines or vehicles for genes, whose sole purpose is to replicate and ensure their own survival across generations. Dawkins introduces the idea of selfish genes, suggesting that genes act in ways that maximize their chances of being passed down, even if it means influencing the behaviors of the organisms that carry them. This view turns the conventional understanding of evolution on its head. Traditionally, evolution was seen as a process where individuals, species, or populations evolve traits that benefit the group. However, Dawkins challenges this idea by stating that behaviors that appear to be selfless, like cooperation or altruism, are often strategies employed by genes to ensure their survival. These behaviors are not driven by a sense of collective good, but rather by genetic imperatives that promote the replication of the genes responsible for these behaviors. A central concept in the book is kin selection, the idea that we are more likely to help relatives or family members because they share a significant portion of our genes. Helping close relatives is a strategy for ensuring that our genetic material is passed on, even if we don't directly benefit from the action. Dawkins uses the example of a parent bird feeding its chicks, which seems to be an altruistic act, but is ultimately a way to ensure the survival of the bird's genetic legacy. This extends to humans, where we may be more inclined to help family members, recognizing that supporting those with shared genes increases the chances that our own genetic material will survive. Dawkins also explores the concept of reciprocal altruism, a type of cooperation where individuals help others with the expectation that the favor will be returned. While this might seem purely selfless, Dawkins shows that reciprocal altruism benefits both parties by ensuring that both individuals increase their chances of survival in the long run. This concept highlights how cooperation and helping others are often strategies that contribute to an individual's or a gene's survival, even if those helping behaviors aren't immediately rewarding in a tangible way. In social species like humans, reciprocal altruism fosters long-term cooperation, which can lead to stronger relationships and networks. One of the book's most innovative ideas is the concept of memes, a term Dawkins coined to describe cultural units of information, ideas, behaviors, trends, or practices, that spread and evolve just like genes. Memes are self-replicating ideas that compete for attention and influence. Just as genes spread through reproduction, memes spread through human culture by being passed from person to person. Successful memes are those that resonate with people and are easy to replicate, whether through humor, emotion, or societal relevance. In this way, memes can be thought of as the cultural analogues of genes, with similar patterns of replication and survival. Memes can spread quickly and powerfully, influencing behavior and thought in ways that are similar to genetic inheritance. Dawkins uses this concept to explain how cultural evolution parallels biological evolution, and how ideas can evolve to better fit the social environment, much as genes evolve to better fit the biological environment. Dawkins also discusses how seemingly selfish behaviors are often driven by the need to replicate one's genes, but not in a narrow, individualistic sense. For example, animals and humans may exhibit behaviors that appear to be selfish, but in reality, these actions may be part of a broader strategy to ensure that one's genetic material continues to thrive. Dawkins stresses that while genes drive much of our behavior, human beings still have the capacity for conscious decision-making and complex moral reasoning. The book challenges the view that we are entirely driven by genetic impulses, encouraging readers to understand the interplay between genetic drives and individual agency. Through The Selfish Gene, Dawkins offers a new way of thinking about evolution and behavior. Rather than seeing evolution as a process of competition between species or individuals, he presents it as a process in which genes compete to replicate. This framework helps explain not only biological phenomena, but also human social behavior, cooperation, and culture. Dawkins doesn't reduce human life to mere biological determinism but shows how our genetic inheritance interacts with our social environment and individual choices. The book concludes by reinforcing the idea that the true unit of natural selection is not the individual or the species, but the gene. Through the lens of the selfish gene, we can understand how behaviors, from cooperation to competition, are often influenced by the biological imperative to replicate genes. While this perspective may seem impersonal or reductionist, it provides profound insights into the ways that evolution shapes not just our bodies, but our minds and societies. The key takeaway is that we are not merely passive carriers of our genes but active participants in the evolution of life, influenced by both genetic drives and cultural forces. The selfish gene ultimately encourages us to rethink what it means to be human, how we relate to one another, and how we fit into the larger web of life.